Okay, maybe you can relate to this. Are you an animal eater or a vegetarian that just can't even fathom the idea of giving up dairy products? I know what it feels like to be where you're at because I used to be right there. On April 1st, 2020 of this year, I gave up meat products and animal products altogether and I pivoted my entire business. Thus came Plant-Based Made Easy. Welcome to the show. Today I'm going to show you a delicious and easy recipe that is a classic recipe. Cream cheese and lox, anyone? People always ask me, how can I actually get these classic homemade recipes that I'm so used to making, like from generation to generation that have been passed on, like lox. And how do I make them healthier in my home? I've got you covered. Today, I'm going to show you how to make cream cheese from scratch and lox from scratch. And we are not going to harm any animals in the process. You ready? All right, let's do it. I'm going to start with our lox. This stuff is so good. All right. I used to be a huge fan of salmon, but not anymore, because I don't want these salmon in my belly. I want them to stay in the ocean right where they belong. So let's begin with making meat-free, salmon-free lox out of the mighty carrot. We are going to make carrot lox today using 3 delicious organic farm fresh carrots from my CSA farm box. You guys, these were actually grown like 20 miles from my home. So I'm very proud to say I'm eating local today with these carrots. We need a delicious carrot. You can use rainbow carrots or regular orange carrots that will sort of mimic the look of salmon. So I'm going to use these bright orange carrots. You want 3 to 4 large ones, okay? The first thing that you need to do is you absolutely need to wash these well. I really like to emphasize using a vegetable brush or some sort of a brush that's just dedicated to your produce for simple washing hard vegetables. These are root vegetables and tubers and carrots and things like this. Don't try to wash like your mushrooms or your pears. Softer vegetables and fruits don't need a brush. You can do that just with water. But for these, you definitely want to get in the nooks and crannies and wash up all the dirt, all right? Now, I like to wash them well because I don't need to peel them. I want to keep as much of the carrot intact as possible. So we're going to use a little Y peeler for this. This is what I'm going to use today. And I'm actually going to keep the green part intact just so I can hold it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to make carrot ribbons. All right. So you take your peeler and I'm going to go start from the halfway point all the way down, literally just making ribbons. See how I'm doing this? That's it. And now I didn't peel it, so I'm going to even use that first peel as part of my lox. I'm going to turn it a quarter turn and then do it again from halfway all the way down. Turn it, peel it, turn it, peel it. And you should end up with these beautiful ribbons. These are carrot ribbons galore. All right, this stuff is so good. You can use these carrot ribbons on salads, in stir fries, but today we're using them for our lox. Now, the other half, you want to flip the carrot over and you want to hold the part that you've peeled and go all the way to the green. Peel it, turn it, keep going. I love using fresh carrots for this lox. This lox is so great. It's like pickled carrots in this beautiful umami-rich brine, which we're going to make right now. So after you've peeled all of your carrots, go ahead and grab them and put them inside of your brining jar. I'm going to use a 16-ounce glass jar today. I'm going to pop these into my Amazon influencer profile page because I love these. These are wide mouth and they're perfect for actually taking on the go. They actually fit right in your car. What is it? Like drink hole that is right in your car holder, your drink holder. I really like it because it's wide mouth and I like that it's 16 ounces and it's glass. All right. All BPA free, of course, because it's glass. Take your carrots, your ribbons and stuff them right into your container. You can use a mason jar. You can even use a regular Pyrex container as long as it has a lid. All right. And then we'll make our brine, our umami brine in a bowl. All right. So make this in a bowl. It's just going to be easier and then you can pour it right in. Carrots in my jar. Place them aside. Now let's make our mixture. Take a big giant bowl here and I'm going to walk you through this. It's really, really simple. All right. The first thing that we want is some sort of low sodium soy sauce. This is what I'm going to use today, but you can use any soy sauce that you like. This is reduced sodium. It says it right there on the label. This is from Trader Joe's. I'm going to use an amazing flavored soy sauce like this one. I really prefer the reduced sodium as opposed to the, and I need a cup measure. I really prefer the reduced sodium as opposed to the full sodium because the full sodium is really way too high in sodium levels. Nobody needs that. So half a cup. You can use liquid aminos or coconut aminos as well. And this will go right in with a half a cup of water. All right, pour this in. Let me grab my water. And I'm going to use cold filtered water, all right? Really important. And now I really want to mimic lox. Lox has a really salty, sometimes even a sweet flavor because of the salmon itself. And so because of that, we're going to mimic it with maple syrup. I'm just going to use about 2 tablespoons of organic maple. Pop this in, 1 and 2. You can use agave if you want, or you can remove the maple or an agave or any of the sweetener altogether. And now I want a little rice vinegar. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon, just a splash of this rice vinegar. This is seasoned. It's going to have a little sodium, but I'm only using 1 teaspoon. That's it, just a splash. And then a teaspoon of capers. I love these capers. Capers are going to give you a really nice salty, briny quality. And I'm just going to grab a teaspoon of the capers themselves, not so much the brine, but just the actual part of the flour. There we go. That goes right in. Perfect. And I'm going to use a little liquid smoke, 1 teaspoon of this. And here's what I use. I use the hickory liquid smoke. This comes from Amazon, all natural and concentrated. This stuff needs to be used in moderation. It's not considered a healthy food or a health food by any means. So I'm only using 1 teaspoon. Honestly, I use a couple splashes and that goes a long way. If you don't want liquid smoke, let's say you're whole food plant-based and you don't enjoy anything that's processed in your diet, how about a little smoked paprika? This could also work just fine. I'm going to use a little bit of this as well and just a half a teaspoon or a couple shakes. And then a bit of garlic powder. Yum. I love this stuff. Garlic powder is going to add a savory quality, a really nice full body round flavor. Just half a teaspoon or a couple shakes. And then I want a teaspoon or so, half a teaspoon or so of white miso. So I'm using the yellow mellow white miso. This is from Cold Mountain. And we've talked about this ingredient this week. I'll show you once again. It comes with a little piece of parchment paper. You want to keep that on top. So don't throw that away. And you want to get about a half a teaspoon. So I'm eyeballing it and I'm throwing it right in. Grab your parchment. The parchment keeps this from being oxidized. So let that just sit right on top and then close it. And it actually should suck out all the air. This is a great container. This goes right back in the refrigerator because this is a fermented food and it needs to stay cold. All right, a last ingredient. We need a little bit more of that umami. And one of the best ways to get it is through a sushi nori sheet. All right, so I'm going to grab one of these and I'll show you what you can do. You want to actually take this sushi nori sheet and you want to shred it into your mixture. So let me grab one and I need my scissors or my kitchen shears. And I have this sheet here. Now, obviously this is for sushi, hand rolls, or regular rolls. And you can use it for adding umami to anything, stir fries or soups, but I really like it in brines. You can use it to pickle things as well. So take your sheet and you want to actually fold it in half. Let's see, that's hot dog and then hamburger. We got to find different expressions here. I'm plant-based now. That is not going to work for me. And then just portrait and landscape. There you go. Danny's thinking like it. I love this. This is perfect. Portrait and landscape until you have like a bundle, right? And then take your kitchen shears and you want to literally just slice it into little pieces right into your brine. Now, as soon as this hits the liquid, it's going to start to release this delicious kind of umami, nori, minerally, iron-rich flavor right into your brine. And it's going to be so good. This is going to give it a fishy quality as well because it's nori after all. It's dehydrated sea kelp. It belongs in the ocean. But unlike the salmon, the nori doesn't really have feelings. It's not a sentient being. So we love you, nori. We thank you. Thank you for being a part of this brine. All right, take a little whisk and whisk this. And just until the miso is separated, I'll show you what it looks like. Just this brown, really delicious brown liquid. Thank you. Danny just grabbed a carrot that was hiding. All right, so basically we really just want to mix up the miso. The capers are going to stay whole. The nori flakes are also going to stay sort of whole. Leave that how it is. Take your carrot mixture, throw in your brine. All of the nori. Yum, you guys. This only takes about 4 hours to sit. but it's one of these things that the longer it sits, the better it gets, right? So just give this a little mix. And you've got some lox underway, people. Meatless, salmonless lox. Yum. So obviously I made these ahead of time. I'll show you here in a second. Let's actually make the cream cheese. All right, so to make the cream cheese, I'm going to need a little bit of this tofu. I'm using sprouted tofu here, and I'm going to use a regular sprouted tofu 8-ounce block. I've opened it already, and it has just been sitting in a paper towel.
Question?
Yeah, let's do a question. Danny, I'm going to need to plug in my computer. Sorry, I might die here. All right, so Diana has a question. Is that gluten-free? Is the lox gluten-free? The lox is totally gluten-free. Is the tofu gluten-free? The tofu is totally gluten-free. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So this is a completely gluten-free recipe. Let me just make sure that you understand, though. We're going to serve this on a bagel or a piece of toast. And so that, I'm afraid, isn't going to be gluten-free unless you found gluten-free bagels and toast, in which case you're totally great. You can just enjoy your gluten-free meal. All right, so I'm going to take this tofu. Danny's going to open up the studio door. Pause. And what I want to do is you saw it, it's wrapped in paper towels, and that's to just remove a lot of the liquid. Take this and pop it into your food processor. Now, you need a food processor for this. Just crumble it up into a bunch of pieces. I want you to see this, so I'm going to move out of the way and put this next to me even higher so you can, nope, go in here. There you go. Perfect. I'm going to crumble this, pop it in, crumble it. And I'm using the sprouted tofu because, honestly, it's all going to be more bioavailable. All those micro and macronutrients, it's going to be more available in your belly, in your microbiome. So enjoy sprouted tofu, you guys. I promise it doesn't taste anything different than the regular, but it's much better for you. All right, so our tofu is in. You with me so far? If you have any questions along the way, just let a sister know. I really want to help you. This recipe is so good, so you can't mess it up. All right, studio doors coming down. Hold, please. Okay, perfect. You're plugged in. We've got power, people. All right, now we need a garlic clove. And anytime I see a recipe for like 1 garlic clove, I'm like, huh? Is that going to be enough? That's my Italian side. All right, so I'm going to put 2, but it's totally up to you. I'm going to grab a knife here just so I can get this skin off. I like to take my garlic clove and I like to pound it. And the skin comes right off. This is exactly what we want. And that's going to release the allicin. That's the antiviral and antibacterial and antimicrobial properties in this garlic. When we smack it, it releases or activates the allicin. The garlic cloves are now in. All right, the next thing I want is a little bit of lemon juice. I'm going to use a whole lemon here, about 2 tablespoons. And I have one, just going to roll it in my palm, open it. 2 tablespoons, it's about a tablespoon per half of each regular size lemon. Now, if you grow your own lemons, you can know that sometimes they get very big. You probably only need half a lemon to get 2 tablespoons. Probably yields 4 tablespoons in a toto. But for the small ones, that's probably what I need is a whole. I'm not going to measure it. It's just kind of eyeballing it. And the lemon is going to give you that like cream cheese tang. Really, really important. Now, I also want a tablespoon of nutritional yeast. I'm going to use large flake nutritional yeast, but you can use any that you want. This is going to give it a cheesy flavor and a delicious texture. And it's also going to give you an amazing amount of B12 vitamins. My favorite vitamin, B12, of course. Anything with the number 12 is my favorite. And then a little bit of garlic powder here as well. Again, this is just going to match the lox and give you a round, fuller, savory flavor. Yum, 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 yum. And let me see if I'm missing anything. Of course, salt, a little bit of salt. I'm going to use sea salt today, but you can use kosher salt if that's your jam. And a little black pepper if you want. I'm going to leave black pepper out because I don't want any of the specks, but that's totally up to you. And I'm going to pulse this first. Then I will actually add in some herbs. So let's give this a little pulse. There we go. Lock it in place. Love the Ninja. I want you to see it. You can. Stop it about halfway. and just use a hard spatula. I'm using this today, right? It's a hard spatula because it doesn't bend. That's a hard spat. That means it's going to go around the blade rather easily without it actually tearing the spatula. That's what we want. So you want to do this once. And now's a really great time to pulse it until it's smooth. And then you can add your herbs. A couple more pulses. This looks so good. This looks perfect. Now, I love the color of this too. It's like really kind of, it's almost like a, well, it's like a cheesy color. You'll see here in a second. One more pulse for good measure. Perfect. All right, so you can mix in the fresh herbs. Let me show you what we're working with right now. Look at, looks like cream cheese, right? Albeit a bit chunky on the edges, but don't worry, that's all gonna get mixed in. So now let's talk herbs. You can use any that you'd like. The recipe that I'm working from is the recipe right out of my September Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook, and it says use dill and chive. So I'm gonna use fresh dill here. And I love fresh dill because it has a really nice anise flavor. One of my favorite fresh herbs for sure. Hard to grow because it's so tender. It's so delicate that it's actually been very difficult for me to grow. Has anyone grown it with success in their garden at home? I'm gonna just take off, I think it's gonna be about 1/4 cup or so. And it's totally up to you how much you want. It can be 2 tablespoons. Oh no, it's actually more like 2 tablespoons when I see it. Look, right here, goes right in. And you can use a little bit of chives. Now I'm holding my chives as well as my dill. I held both of them together in this cup with a little bit of water. I'm just gonna grab some fresh chives. And I think I'll save the fresh chives for the top or for the garnish. So let me just pull those out, put that aside, and let me mix the dill into this mixture here, just so it can get speckled with a little green. Perfect. This looks so good. And let me get it in a bowl and I'll show you what we're working with here. Oh, this stuff is so good. It's so versatile and it's going to last a long time in your refrigerator. So I say you're probably going to have it. It's not going to last as long as it will before it goes bad because you'll eat it before then. It's going to last just fine for up to 3 weeks in your refrigerator, as long as it's kept cold and sealed, like with some sort of container that's keeping it sealed and the air out. You're good to go. Just pop it into a bowl here. And this is just so you can see it, but I would actually hold it in a glass container with a lid. I'll transfer it later. But it's really nice if you're serving this for people. Serve it in a big bowl. Allow people to like see what it is, see what the herbs are that are in it. Like, look at it, right? See it. See that it doesn't look as scary as one might think vegan or plant-based cream cheese could be. This looks amazing. Take a quick second to just soak that in with me. Delicious cream cheese. Yum. All right, put this aside. Let me grab a paper towel and clear my decks here. And then let's plate. So I have some toast. Today I'm going to use toast, but you can use bagel, pita. You could use quite literally any bread that you want, gluten-free or not. And I'm using a fresh baked bread. Yum. You guys, if you want a recipe for fresh baked bread, I have one in my cookbook as part of the staple recipes. So at the end of every week, I give you one staple recipe. And that is like a staple that's a plant-based staple that's going to encourage you to make something that you would normally buy out in market, make it in home. So that's bread, yogurt, cheese. These are all, and milk. These are all things that we absolutely love and we probably all use on a regular basis, whether we're animal eaters or plant-based eaters. And there is a better way to do it. By making it at home, you can actually save a lot of money and save a lot of the nutrients. You can keep nutrients intact by knowing what's in your food. So I have some toast here, beautiful. I just toasted it up ahead of time. I'm now going to take a little bit of this cream cheese and an offset spatula. And I'm just going to go wall to wall, as they say, or coast to coast, getting a little bit of cream cheese with every single bite of this toast. And I'm doing like a double layer here because this stuff is so good. And it's all protein. It's protein rich. Not to mention it's sprouted tofu, so it's organic and sprouted. That is a win-win in my book. And while I do this, I wanted to show you a little video. A video came out the other day called the Make the Connection campaign. This is a plant-based, vegan, promoting, amazing video. And I wanted to show you today. And so, Danny, can you get that queued up for us? I love that this is actually Israeli and there are subtitles. So let's take a little listen here.
טרי טרי. מה זה? טרי טרי? לחלק או לארוז?
אתם לא באמת מופתעים. למעלה ממיליון ישראלים עשו את החיבור והפסיקו לאכול בעלי חיים. לכל המידע על איך להתחיל, חפשו בגוגל, עושים את החיבור.
Pretty amazing, right? Not big, but interesting to watch. I know that a lot of you probably didn't hear the very first like 20 seconds, but you heard the ending. It's actually worth another watch because it's very happy and joyful at the very beginning. And why I like it so much is because it's benign. It's like a couple in the grocery store. They're getting their weekly groceries and they're reaching for what's fresh. And all of a sudden, the woman has this idea to go right to the meat case and to ask the butcher to make it fresh, make it as fresh as possible. I want it fresh. And they come out with a fresh, totally like living lamb. And in that moment, her face is like, wow, she's made the cognitive switch and the heart switched from this is not just meat. This was a living animal and is a living animal. And I'm choosing to let it live as opposed to eating it in my lamb stew or whatever they're going to make. So I found it really profound. I have to say, bravo, Israel. I'm very excited about all these plant-based pro-marketing campaigns that are coming out. Thumbs up, you guys. I absolutely love this. It's so important for us to think about right now, right? I mean, we're in this global pandemic for a reason. And one of the biggest reasons is because we are not treating ourselves, our bodies, and Mother Nature, as well as including the animal kingdom, with enough love and respect. And if we can do that, well, to be really frank, none of us would actually be having to wear masks right now. So let's all try to do what we can to make this cognitive and emotional shift. I know for me, I definitely had to make this shift. I used to represent a salmon company all last year. And it was really an interesting moment for me when I finally sort of had the awareness shift and the cognitive shift from, wow, this is not just about, like selling fish. This is about taking the lives of these fish. And the reason why I really loved that campaign that you just saw is because that was about lamb. But truly, there's no difference between a lamb or a cow or a fish or a dog. They are all part of the animal kingdom. They are all sentient beings, and they all want to live just like you and I. So that is my rant for today, and I'm so grateful to have been able to share that. I'm so grateful that that's out, and we can enjoy our lox salmon-free, people. Here we go. Moment of truth. All right, so I have my lox. This has been sitting in a brine for 24 hours. I absolutely am so excited to try this. I cannot wait. Grab it. And then just kind of like make yourself a little mound on your cutting board. There we go. And then I want to really do a good job of layering this on my toasts. The rest can go right back into the brine. Give it a little shake, put it aside. Now for my toasts, I am just going to take it and I'm going to layer it on just like you would see salmon in like little tiny ribbons. Oh my gosh, I can smell the liquid smoke, the sesame. It's sweet and savory, even on the nose. And it looks like little bits of salmon. It's like beautiful, jewel-colored orange carrot flesh. Boy, I'm glad that it's carrot flesh and not salmon flesh. It was hard for me for a long time to make the connection between fish. I kept thinking, oh, it's okay to eat fish. It's okay to eat fish. And of course, however you eat is okay for you. But for me, I could not make the cognitive switch. I kept thinking, oh, well, fish don't deserve the same respect as maybe like a cow does or a dog does. Turns out I'm wrong. I was wrong. And now I see the light. Fish are absolutely deserving of life, just as you and I are. And they feel pain and they feel emotions and they feel like they're suffocating when they come out of the water. And why would anybody want that, right? Think of like the worst, scariest, extreme situation maybe you've ever been in or someone you know or a loved one has been in. You wouldn't wish that upon anyone. So why do we wish that as a society? And I'm not pinpointing you here, but why as a society have we normalized murder? Have we normalized taking cows away from their calves and inseminating and then basically milking them until their impending death to the slaughterhouse? I mean, I know I'm being a little bit controversial today, but I think it's time. I think it's time that we have some awareness that our food really is meant to serve us. It's not meant to give us, my gut trauma. It's not meant to give us cancer. It's really meant to help us to thrive. And if we can thrive, we will be living in a life and a world that is also thriving. So let's live and let live. Let's let our animals live for sure and eat those plants. All right, so I have my lox. I'm just going to finish my lox with a little bit of fresh chive because the green is going to make this pop. You can see this looks absolutely beautiful, right? It looks like beautiful ribbons of thinly sliced lox, cream cheese. I couldn't ask for more. Come on. Take a minute with me, will ya? Look at this beautiful plate. Gorgeous. All right. I'm going to try a little bite because quality control. I have to every single day. I'm throwing up a peace sign because that's how good it is. My goodness. Amazing. These lox taste like lox. So unbelievably good. The cream cheese is so smooth and creamy and herbaceous. It's delicious on this toast. You guys definitely try this recipe. Like I always say, make it your own. Have fun with it. Really enjoy it. This one's fun. And I think that you'll enjoy kind of making it and having lox available anytime and cream cheese available anytime because we're all cheese lovers at heart, but it should be plant-based cheese. All right, that's all for now. Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm so glad that you're here. Please come back for tomorrow because tomorrow is our Sweet Friday after all. And so we're going to finish the week. We've had a really busy week. And we're going to finish really strong with a very berry brownie bites. These are really, really good, very easy to make, simple recipe using fruit, dates, nuts, all the good stuff. So join me tomorrow and I will see you then. Peace out.